Hi, my name is Terry Lee from Sweet Pea Papers and the Sweet Pea Papers Facebook group, and today I'm here to do a guest design team project for LineDotArrow, and the kit we're going to be using is called Vintage Florals. Now all of Natalie's links are going to be below to the Etsy store, her Facebook page, and her Facebook group, so don't worry about that. You'll be able to access everything below. Now part of the kit, this is actually the second time I've done this video, as you can see by several little piles of envelopes over here, manila folders. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to show you this really pretty kit. That's why the edges are trimmed. They weren't trimmed the first time I went through. So there's this page, and this is going to be our cover page. And then this page, which is pretty. It's got the little dragonflies and shells and things on it. And then this page, which is very pretty as well. I really like this image in the center. And then this page, which I like that little splash of color. There's blue and purple. Oops, I can't let go of it. I like it so much I can't let go. And then these are some writing pages. This doesn't have to be a writing page. This could be a page that you put elements on, like pockets and belly bands and different things. But you could also write on it as well. And then these pages here, you can do the same. You can use them to do elements, because now we're going to be cutting these pages up to fit our project. So we'll be able to use the part for writing, part for adding things to, I don't know, parts just to fussy cut out the flowers. Who knows? We won't need to do that because I'll show you in just a minute. And here's another one with the like the business type graph on there, and then here's one with the graph and then some of the illegible type, and it's very nice. It's got some buttons on it. If I can find some buttons that match, we may use some buttons on the cover with a cluster or something. And then this one is upside down. This one is the graph paper, but it's got the beautiful flowers. It's got a place for an element, and it has a beautiful picture here. So those are the main pages of the kit. Then here we have our fussy cuts, which are great. These can be used as elements on the pages. They could also be used as tags. I don't have these double side printed right now, but now that I look at these, I think I might go ahead and put a tan color or something on the back side of these, or a cream color. And then there's these, which are the same as, they're not the same as the next ones. They're just bigger. Okay, actually they are the same. They're just one size bigger. There's these, and the more fussy cut flowers and a little ticket. And then this whole page of these beautiful fussy cut flowers. So those all go together. Then we've got our pockets. We always need pockets. And tags. I've already double side printed these, as you can see. And so we've got the single pockets, the large pockets. And then we have the smaller, not pockets, tags. I'm sorry. And then the regular size tags. Then these three are attached to one because it's actually a trifold, a pocket. Why do I keep saying pocket? A tag trifold. Then we have some elements that we can use for tags and cards and things. Then we have this trifold envelope, open envelope. Or you could use it as a manila folder, a miniature manila folder. And then we have the two envelopes. So there's that. And that's the kit that we're going to be using. Put these double-sided ones back together. I print the envelopes double-sided so that there's an image on the inside. We can still stencil or something on the inside. I'm going to try to keep this to a maximum of 4 videos, so you may notice that I either put you on pause or we go from one video to the next, and I've done some things in between, but I'll always tell you what I did and why. Okay, there's those. I have to find those. Anyway, I don't need to do it right now. And the pages. Now for a project, interesting thing that it took me 3 tries, but when you're playing with prototypes, that's what happens. So when you start doing this, it will happen to you as well. The first prototype I had done the first time I did the video, and I made a mistake, as you can see here, and cut this too short, and it's kind of crooked. So when you look at the back page, then you see the mistake. So that one was out, even though we had the envelopes. We had one more envelope than what we're going to do this time, because it makes too many pages to cover. And also I decided to go ahead and ink. Now, I had mentioned in the first time around that that I wasn't going to ink, but that you could ink, and you'd have to ink your little heart out. This is true. So this is the second one I did, and I inked my little heart out. Still had the third envelope on the cover, which you could still put on there. But then I discovered it was too tall. So I had mismeasured. The pages are 7.5 inches tall when you print them. No, forgot to tell you about that. Natalie's in Europe, and so they have different sizes than our 8.5 by 11 papers here in the US. So when you go to print your paper, do not select fit page or fill page or whatever it is that your printer wants to do. Uncheck that and let it print the natural size. Otherwise, you're going to lose a bunch of the image all the way around, because it's going to magnify it to make it fill the page. So that gives us a shorter page when it's trimmed, and I believe it's 7.5. I hope so. Yep, it's 7.5 instead of 8.5 minus, you know, the border that you cut off. So I had originally cut the pages to well, bigger than that, and I noticed that there was too much of a gap. Okay, and so I was a little upset because I had inked my little heart out. Everything had come out correctly, and I was very happy with it, but I'll use it for another project. That's a little, the papers are taller. Now this one I haven't put together yet. I did ink my little heart out, and I found an easier way to do this. So by the third time I did it, it's actually to your advantage, because I discovered an easier way. These 3 envelopes are invitation envelopes. Sorry about the crackle. They're cream colored. They're A2s, and they're 4 3/8 by 5 3/4. All right. And I'll put a link below to this company, even though I buy them through Amazon. And this isn't a plug, you know, I don't get anything for it or anything. But if you look across, I looked across the bottom here, and all of a sudden I noticed that they have free templates. So I went there and looked, and they have free templates for different size envelopes. I don't know why they do that, but anyway, for brochures and all kinds of other things that you can just print out a free template for. Onward and upward. What you're going to do is you're going to start out with a manila folder, and it doesn't matter where the tab is on it. You're going to cut it off, keeping the fold, right, because you're still going to want it to open. You're going to cut it off at 7 3/4. That gives you 1/8 of an inch at the top and the bottom, above, you know, around the paper. Now, we may have to print out some of the pages more than once, depending on how we want it to look, because the width here is wider than half of one of the pages. Okay, side note. Now, in the first one, we're going to cut, look at this open, ink all of these seams and edges. This could use a little more inking right here. Okay, just ink the intersection and all the borders on both sides. This will help you see when you need to cut as well. Oops, I'm so sorry. And you'll notice I had folded it in half and then folded it in half again before I inked, and that's how I got the 4 lines. So you see, here it is the regular way. Then I folded it in half. Then I opened it back up and I inked everything on both sides. Okay. I realize it says Amazon Basics there. The next time I buy file folders or manila folders or whatever you want to call them, I'm going to buy one that doesn't have a logo on it. These are just inexpensive. They're $13 for 100, I believe. And I go through these things like crazy. So what we're going to do is we're going to make an extra page. And how we're going to do that, you know, other than just this, we're going to make an extra page right here. So what we're going to do is all we have is just cut right along this seam right here. And you can see it a lot better too. So we're just going to cut right up here. No gaps for, you know, no triangles for folding or anything like that. That's what I did in the first one, and that's how I ended up with it crooked. And you're just going to cut right to the center. Okay? And when you fold it back up, you'll notice now you have an extra page. Nifty neato, huh? We're also going to make a pocket right here in the front where we don't have our page. And I'm going to make a top pocket. You can make a side pocket if you like. But we're going to put our envelopes on first, our flaps. Now I'm not going to put one on the front, but I am going to put one on the back, the second page. So we're not going to glue this yet to give us easy access to where we need to glue the envelopes. Now I inked these envelopes. I inked all the way around like you would normally, you know, just ink the edges. And then I took the ink dauber and I went around it like this because I don't really want the cream to show, even though the cream and the manila folder look fine together. If you're going to ink this, then you might as well ink this. And if you're going to ink your heart out on that, then you might as well ink your heart out on this. Okay? So we're going to, oh, the color ink I'm using is Aged Mahogany, and that goes really well with the papers. My dog just walked between my legs and scared me half to death. And he walked right through the audio cable. Let me adjust that. Okay. So we're going to put an envelope here. We're going to line it up with the lines going up and down. We're going to put an envelope here to flip up. And then we're going to, let me see how I decided to do it. We're going to put an envelope facing this way so that they're like side pockets. And then this one was going to fold that way. I'm sorry. I took everything apart and I had to remember. So these two will face each other like flaps, you know, like doors. And then when you fold the page, this one will flip up. And once it's flipped up, we'll have this whole big area to work with, because we're going to glue this right here. And then we'll have the back cover. Right, so let's get started. Alright, so we're going to glue this one on here. All you're going to do is open it up. And we're going to glue here. I hope that was somebody knocking next door. I'm not expecting anyone here. I never expect anyone here. You know that song, Don't You Want Somebody to Love? Don't you need somebody? Anyway, it's going through my head. It's stuck. I think it's Jefferson Airplane, Jefferson Starship. I'm not sure which one they were at the time. Okay, now you're going to want to make your pocket straight by following this line. They're gusset marks for when you have so many folders in there that you need to expand your folder. I'm going to flip that one up for right now. Like that, we'll take it off. Then we want to flip this over. We want to glue this. I was going to just edit that video where I went through the papers and then just add this part on, and then I just thought, well, that's just going to look silly. So I just did it again. Okay, whoops. Now we're going to put this one on this way. We're going to line it up with this line. There's lines right here. Once you ink it, you'll see them a lot better. That will make our doorway. Then we'll open this. We'll glue this one on. Oops. Glue it onto the table or the work surface. This is made by the same company that makes the Tim Holtz one. This is the European version. And I just got lucky and got it on Amazon. It's bigger than the regular one, even though it doesn't have the work area. I figure that I can figure out how to use the top corner as a work area if I want, a palette area. I like to watch his videos, Tim Holtz. I got some new distress crayons and some new embossing material. It's not, it is a powder, but it works differently. So, might get a chance to use it on here because we are going to have fussy cut flowers, and that would be nice on there. So we've got that hung on there. So now what we need to do, first of all, is check for any glue seepage. Oh, and I just glued this shut, didn't I? Get my dry wet wipe. Wipe that off. We're only going to see it above where the paper is. Let's take our glue eraser. It'll come right off. We may have to re-ink it. Now we're going to make pockets out of all these as well, all these envelopes. So you are going to have to re-ink, you know, whatever side you trim for the envelope. I mean for the pocket. But it's no big deal. And that's why I didn't trim any, you know, before. I think we will make these, I don't know, facing pockets, 2 top pockets. I'm not sure. In this video, we're just going to do the construction. So we've got this. Now we need to glue to make our pocket. If you want a side pocket, that's fine. Just don't glue here. But I'm thinking we're going to have to tie it shut. So if you're going to have a side pocket, then you're going to need to use a tab like up at the top to pull the card out with, which isn't bad. No big deal. But I'm just mentioning that now. If you use a top loading pocket, you can just make the pocket a little bit taller. Use a hole and a ribbon, and that's cool. Either way, you just have to use double side printed paper. Okay, So let's open this down. Let's move this out of the way. I'm sure you can't see what I'm doing. Now, not on the side where the cut is, but on this side right here, we're going to glue here, and we're going to glue here so that we close this, and then we'll close this, and we'll have our top pocket. Okay? And we only have to glue this one part because we're going to fold this part up. So we're going to glue here, and this is the top left corner. You don't have to glue the bottom because it folds. We're going to glue here. And we're making a pocket just like you would any other pocket. And we're just going to fold it up. I'm going to glue it. And we're going to, whoops, then we're going to open this. Make sure there's no glue seeping out, but make sure that it's glued shut. So now what we have is a book. And the book opens like this. Then the two envelopes open like this. We've got this large area to work in. Then we fold here. We have the flip up, and we have this large area to work in. Now, it's possible that once we get going, we can add other envelopes. But I'm trying to make it enough so that you can see the prettiness of the kit, but also that it doesn't take, you know, one of my 15 episode tutorials to get it done. Like I said, I'm going to do things in between, but I'll tell you what I've done, or I'll tell you what I'm going to do, and it's just to speed the process along. It's not some surprise that I'm never going to tell you how I did it. Okay? And then we have our back cover. Now you may want to bone folder it again. The back looks like it wants to stick up a little bit. We are going to tie it shut. Somebody remind me. I got some new hemp twine, so I think that's what we'll use. I think that'll go along with the theme. And it lays flat, even though we didn't make that little triangle cut when we cut across to make the page. Okay, so that's going to be it for this video. We've got the glue without the lid. We're using aged mahogany, remember that. We're using 1 manila folder and 3 invitation envelopes. And we're using this beautiful kit. And that's what we're going to cover it with. And so that's all the difficult it is, or the more difficult it is. That's the highest level of difficulty. Everything else is going to be super easy. So just watch this back again. If you have any trouble folding your manila folder, remember to cut it off at the measurements that I gave you. I believe it was 7 3/4. You want your paper to have just a little bit on the top and the bottom for the margin. And I really like the way the aged mahogany goes with this. There are some places I think I'm going to go back and make a little bit darker. But that's just your own personal preference. You do not have to ink it at all. You can just leave it the manila folder and then maybe ink the envelopes, or just leave the envelopes cream. That would match as well. Okay? So that's really it for this video, and I'll see you in the next video, and that will be just a second for you and a day for me. Okay, bye-bye.